A giant anaconda had coiled tightly around a defenseless elephant calf. The elephant calf writhed and trumpeted, its desperate, high-pitched cries tearing through the otherwise peaceful air. But just as all hope seemed lost, the mother elephant stepped forward, her immense shadow falling over the terrifying scene. This wasn't just a predator and its prey. This was a mother facing her worst nightmare. In the lush, green grasslands of the acacia forest, a primal battle was about to unfold, pitting the raw, constricting power of a serpent against the unstoppable force of a mother's love. The air, moments before filled with the sweet scent of grass and warm earth, was now thick with a chilling tension. Every second stretched into an eternity as the small calf struggled for its next precious breath, its eyes wide with terror and disbelief. The mother elephant's eyes, usually so gentle and patient, now held a fire that could scorch the very ground she stood upon. She could see the life draining from her child, see the impassive, cold stare of the reptile that held it captive. A low, guttural rumble started deep in her chest, a sound of pure, unadulterated rage. She had to act, and she had to do it now. But to truly understand the depth of this mother's courage, we need to go back just a few moments to a time of peace before the silence was so violently broken. Every tragedy begins with a moment of calm. For this mother and her child, that calm was as beautiful as it was fleeting. The day had begun under a vast, benevolent sky. Sunlight filtered through the delicate, feathery leaves of the acacia trees, painting shifting patterns of light and shadow on the emerald green grass below. A gentle breeze rustled the treetops, carrying with it the drone of insects and the distant calls of birds. It was a picture of perfect tranquility. At its center were the mother elephant and her elephant calf. The mother moved with a slow, deliberate grace, her large form a symbol of quiet strength. She would occasionally pluck a tuft of grass, her gaze never straying far from her child. The elephant calf was her opposite in every way, a bundle of clumsy energy and boundless curiosity. It stayed close, mimicking its mother's movements with a charming awkwardness, its ears flapping with excitement. It would occasionally stop to nudge her leg with its head, a silent check-in, a moment of reassurance, before resuming its playful exploration. This bond, forged in the heart of the wild, was a testament to one of nature's most powerful forces. Then a flicker of vibrant color caught the elephant calf's eye, a brilliant yellow butterfly dancing on the breeze. Without a thought, driven by the pure, innocent impulse of youth, it trotted after the butterfly. It was not a long chase, just a few playful steps that took it from the absolute safety of its mother's side into a zone of unseen peril. It was only a few fatal feet away, in a patch of grass that seemed no different from the rest, that the danger lay in wait. Perfectly camouflaged, an anaconda lay motionless. Its patterned scales blended seamlessly with the dappled light and shadow on the forest floor, making it virtually invisible. It was an ancient creature, a master of patience and a vessel of raw power. Its method is far more primal: constriction. When it strikes, it coils its body around its prey with astonishing speed. With every exhale of the victim, the snake tightens its grip, a relentless, suffocating pressure. The snake had been waiting, its unblinking eyes sensing the vibrations in the ground. The approach of the small, unsuspecting elephant calf was the opportunity it had been anticipating. As the calf took its final, curious step, the serpent exploded from its cover. The tranquil scene was shattered in an instant of coiled fury, and the world was reduced to a single, choked gasp. That single moment of innocent curiosity would lead to a desperate cry for help that ripped through the tranquility of the forest. The mother elephant's world shattered with a single, terrified sound. The gasp was followed by the elephant calf's first panic trumpet. The mother elephant's head shot up, her body instantly rigid. The sight that met her eyes was a physical blow, a vision from her deepest, most primal fears made real. The anaconda, a monster of muscle and scale, had already wrapped multiple, terrifyingly thick coils around her child's small body. The calf was being squeezed, its legs buckling under the immense pressure. A wave of pure, unthinking fury washed over the mother elephant. She let out a deafening roar that shook the very leaves on the trees and charged forward. Her intent was simple: to trample this horror into the dirt. But the anaconda was a seasoned fighter. Sensing the immense threat, it reared the upper third of its body into the air, its mouth gaping in a loud, aggressive hiss. The move was a clear and ancient warning: come no closer. The sheer size and confidence of the snake gave the mother elephant a moment's pause. In that brief hesitation, desperation began to creep in. She let out another thunderous trumpet, this one not of anger, but of a desperate plea for help. She scanned the horizon, hoping to see the familiar gray shapes of her herd. But there was nothing. They had moved on, too far away to hear, too far away to help. A terrible, soul-crushing realization dawned on her. She was completely, utterly alone. It was at this moment that another figure appeared at the edge of the clearing. Ranger Alex had been on a routine patrol nearly a mile away when the first cry had reached him. With over a decade of experience in this wilderness, he could distinguish between different animal calls. This was not a call of territory or of play. This was the sound he dreaded most, the sound of a battle for life. He moved quickly and quietly, finally stopping behind the cover of a large acacia tree. Through his binoculars, the horrifying scene snapped into focus. His heart sank. His training screamed at him not to interfere, that this was the brutal, unfiltered law of nature. But his humanity rooted him to the spot, a helpless witness to the tragedy. The mother elephant, her calls for help unanswered, turned her fury back to the fight. She began to stomp the ground with her colossal feet, sending shockwaves through the earth. Dust and tufts of grass flew into the air with each impact. She aimed her stomps perilously close to the coiled serpent, trying to intimidate it, to jar it, to use the sheer force of her presence to force it to release her child. But the anaconda held fast, its grip unyielding, its focus absolute. The calf's struggles were becoming weaker, its cries softer. Time was running out. With brute force failing and time running out, the mother elephant was about to do something Ranger Alex would never forget, something driven not just by instinct, but by an astonishing intelligence. What Ranger Alex witnessed next would defy everything he thought he knew about the limits of animal instinct. Suddenly, the mother elephant's frantic stomping ceased. A profound stillness came over her. Ranger Alex, watching through his binoculars, saw the shift immediately. The panic in her eyes was replaced by a look of intense, chilling focus. The rage was still there, but it was now channeled, honed to a razor's edge. She was no longer just reacting, she was thinking. What happened next was not a desperate lunge, but a slow, deliberate, two-part strategy that unfolded with breathtaking precision. First, she shifted her enormous weight. Carefully, she placed one of her massive front feet directly onto the lower half of the anaconda's thrashing body. It wasn't a stomp meant to crush, but a calculated press, pinning a long section of the snake firmly to the ground. The snake's tail whipped violently, but its main source of power was neutralized. A constrictor's power comes from its ability to use its entire muscular length to create leverage for its coils. By pinning a significant portion of the snake's body, the mother elephant essentially anchored it. She had disrupted its biomechanical advantage, a move that required not just power, but an intuitive understanding of physics. The second part of her plan was even more astonishing. With the serpent partially immobilized, the mother elephant lowered her head and used her trunk, that incredibly versatile appendage, usually used for drinking, eating, or gentle caresses, as a tool of rescue. She didn't strike with it. Instead, she skillfully hooked the tip of her trunk under a thick, suffocating coil that was wrapped tightly around the elephant calf's chest. Then she pulled. It became a titanic tug of war. The muscles in the mother elephant's shoulders and back bunched as she strained, her feet digging into the earth for traction. The anaconda, enraged and in pain, resisted with all its remaining might, tightening its other coils. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing moved. It was a perfect stalemate of immense forces. Ranger Alex watched, barely breathing, his knuckles white on his binoculars. He was witnessing a mother literally attempting to unwrap death from her child. With a final, deep grunt of exertion, the mother elephant gave one more colossal heave. The coil stretched, slipped, and then finally came loose. The pressure was released. The spell was broken. Defeated and likely injured, the anaconda uncoiled with surprising speed and vanished into the safety of the dense undergrowth. The elephant calf slumped to the ground in a heap, utterly motionless. The python was gone, but a harrowing silence fell over the clearing. The fight for survival had ended, but the fight for life was just beginning. In the quiet aftermath of the storm, the true measure of a mother's love was revealed not in fury, but in tenderness. The mother elephant paid no mind to the retreating serpent. Her entire universe, her entire being, was now focused on the small, limp form lying on the grass. The raging warrior of moments ago was gone, replaced by a gentle, anxious parent. She knelt carefully, her massive knees bending in the soft earth. She reached out her trunk, the same instrument she had just used as a lever of war, and touched her child with an impossible gentleness. She nudged the elephant calf's side, making low, soft, rumbling sounds deep in her chest, vibrations of encouragement, of love, of a desperate plea for a sign of life. From his hiding spot, Ranger Alex watched, his heart lodged in his throat. The clearing was achingly silent. For a long moment, nothing happened. He feared he had just witnessed a victory that had come too late. But then he saw it, a faint flutter of an eyelid, a weak, almost imperceptible twitch of a large, floppy ear. The mother elephant felt it too. Her rumbles became more insistent, more encouraging. She continued her gentle caresses until, finally, the elephant calf took a shuddering, shallow breath. And then another, slowly, unsteadily, with its mother's massive head and trunk providing a living scaffold of support. The calf began to struggle. It pushed with its wobbly legs, and after several failed attempts, it managed to get to its feet. It leaned heavily against her side, drawing strength and warmth from her presence. It was alive. It was safe. Watching this unfold, one realizes this was not just a wild animal fight. It was a demonstration of profound intelligence, strategic thinking, and a love so powerful it could literally move mountains and unwind death's embrace. It's a humbling reminder that the bonds of family and the will to protect our children are universal language that transcends species. This story teaches us about the surprising depth of animal intellect and the fierce, unbreakable power of a mother's love, a force of nature in its own right. Ranger Alex smiled, quietly backed away, and left the reunited family in peace, his heart full. This story is a testament to the incredible connections that bind the natural world. If you were moved by this mother's courage, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that matters. And for another tale of incredible animal heroism, we recommend you watch this video next.